Hebrew Israelites believe in the future they're going to have superpowers like Superman or the Hulk. Literally. Listen to this clip where a guy says that it means in the future Hebrew Israelites are going to be able to throw tanks.
We're going to get that spiritual power, man. Where no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Meaning if a tank, we'll be able to pick up a tank and throw it, man. This is the power we talking about. Not at camp with sticks like these carnal Israelites out here talking about with a gun on their hip. Nah, we're going to get real power, man.
All praises goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors goes into the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that have taught me the truth. And much love, peace, blessings goes out to all you hopeful elect brothers that are teaching the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. There's going to be a lesson. I'm going to entitle it The Incredible Hawk and the Incredible Millstone, okay? Because you got doubters and naysayers, as the scriptures prophesied, that would come against the faith of Yahushua. We just see here another example of that with Vocab Malone, which he's a known scoffer. You know, if you are familiar with Great Millstone videos, you should be pretty familiar with Vocab Malone as well, because we always doing these back and forth responses to him. And really the only kind of results, if you will, he produce is just scoffing and denying what we believe. He doesn't come out the Bible and actually teach it himself. All his work and his so-called ministry, if you would even call it that, is in debate and against whatever we bring out. So this dude doesn't really have a solid leg to stand on, so he's kind of like a parasite, you know. But his latest charade here is coming against the idea of the men of the Lord receiving spiritual powers, because he's a carnal man, and the scriptures weren't made for carnal men to understand, because the scriptures are far beyond the thoughts and imaginations of men, because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai operates outside of what men can conceive and perceive as real. And that's one thing that, you know, these Edomites and, you know, even a common person wouldn't think for a second that the average so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native American would get spiritual powers to do things like they do on movies. But, you know, you got movies out there. Movies are a thing. And why does Esau have these movies out here? Well, first and foremost, really, is to push spiritual power in the aspect of it being whimsical or fantasy. But hey, what these people are about to find out is there's no fantasy involved at all in what we're saying, because the men of the Lord are about to get spiritual powers. So relating to the title of this video, The Incredible Hawk, I wanted to go into that, the concept of the Incredible Hawk, because you seen in that clip where Vocab played, he had the Hulk throwing the tank around. Hey, brother's going to do that without a shadow of a doubt. Now, we're not saying every brother's going to do that, but you're going to have a lot of brothers, many brothers in Great Millstone, many, from multiple camps, multiple brothers in the camp doing spiritual powers, man. Things like healing, things like bringing people back from the dead. Because you got to think about it. We live in a faithless world. We live in a world that does not promote and does not believe in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So what's going to make them fear? It's going to be the men of the Lord. It's going to be Yahweh Bashem Yahushai using the men of the Lord as vessels to carry out his acts and to praise and give credit to his great name. That's how the Lord's going to do it. And he's going to be judging people. He's going to bring magnificent judgments in the earth. But one of the signs of these judgments, and one of the signs, the major sign of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua's name being glorified, is his men. And it's always been so. So 2 Ezra 15:3 says, "Fear not the imaginations against thee, and let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. You know, and incredulity basically goes into being unbelievable, something that's unbelievable. Because when I was looking up this, you know, the information on the Incredible Hulk, and what came up is pretty powerful. Okay, because the Incredible Hulk, basically the synopsis or the backdrop behind his name, why they call him Incredible, is because he has so much power, that you wouldn't believe it. Okay, you wouldn't believe it because he does things that are the ordinary man cannot do. It says the Hulk is a fictional superhero appearing in publications by the American publisher Marvel Comics. Now, the Hulk himself, you see a picture of him right here. He's a fictional hero, meaning he's something conceived in the minds of a person, right? The person being Stan Lee. But the thing about it is this. Look, it's the truth is stranger than fiction. Like the old saying goes. And when you look into the scriptures literally paint the picture of men receiving spiritual powers. It literally says that. Okay? That type of information can't be denied or disregarded. Because the Lord is going to do this. He's going to give his men spiritual power. It says, created by writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby. The character first appeared in the debut issue of The Incredible Hulk. In his comic book appearances, the character is both the Hulk, a green-skinned, hulking, and muscular humanoid possessing a limitless degree of physical strength. You see? He's a green man. And the fact that Bruce Banner, when he turns into the Hulk, and he has green skin is of no coincidence, because who color is really associated with green? It would be Judah. And then the head of Judah, who's the head of Judah? It's Yahweh Shai, because he actually has a green garment. You know, if you look it up in the scriptures, Salakia, it said his body is like the beryl. See this? This is the scriptures when Daniel actually seen a vision of Yahweh Shai and what his garment looked like. It's Daniel 10:5. It says, Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz, meaning he had a golden war belt. It says his body also was like the beryl. Now, when it mentioned Yahweh Shai's body, who the world calls Christ's body, being like beryl, doesn't mean his skin was green, but that he had on a green vesture. He had on a green garment. It says, and his face was as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as the lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, meaning a polished dark brown color. And his voice, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. So you look up that word for beryl is the Rajyash, and it means a precious stone or semi-precious gem, a gem perhaps of the topaz beryl. So it's a bright, it's basically a green color, because when you look up beryl comes in green. The green form of beryl is emerald. So you got yellow, you got big spike, which is red, you got aquamarine, which is this light blue color. But the beryl is referring to in the scriptures is the green beryl. Okay. So let's go to, because like I mentioned, the tribe of Judah, the stone of the tribe of Judah is an emerald. It's a green beryl. And Yahweh Shai is being mentioned as coming from the tribe of Judah. Okay? And I'm not going to go all into that. The information is there for face value. You can look up that in the scriptures because I want to be time efficient on this lesson. So it says, and his alter ego, this is continuing on in the Hulk, right? His alter ego, Dr. Robert Bruce Banner, a physically weak, socially withdrawn, and emotionally reserved physicist. The two exist as an independent, disassociative personalities and resent each other. So the thing about Bruce Banner, he's weak, he's this. He's basically a scrawny guy. But it's spiritual because when you look at it from the perspective of the Israelites, we are like Bruce Banner because we're weak. We're subject to being as a prey unto the other nations because we don't have a standing military. We don't have extensive warrior training, if you will, military training. Of course, you do have a lot of Israelites in the military, in the special forces, but as a whole, as a nation, we're not on par with the other nations. But this is why the Lord's gonna turn us up. He's gonna switch us from being Bruce Banner into being the Incredible Hulk, man. Okay? So when you look up this word for incredible definition. It says impossible to believe, difficult to believe, extraordinary. See? So impossible or difficult to believe. And the scriptures mention the incredulity of those that speak against us. Now people are already showing their incredulity in things that don't even pertain to spiritual power. Things like the Gentiles in the scriptures being Israelite foreigners. They slip on things as what would seem to be minute as that. But yet alone, we talk about spiritual powers. That's in a whole another realm. Think about it. It's incredible. This truth in its entirety, it's incredible to Esau. He can't believe that the things that we say. He can't believe that the Israelites are waking up. You see what I'm saying? Standing upon their feet and coming back to our heritage. It's a hard pill for Esau to swallow, so to speak. You like that got that saying, it's a hard pill to swallow. Well, that's the case for this knowledge, man. It's true. But the scriptures say this. Romans 3:3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? So if some, it doesn't matter if Vocab Malone is doing these videos or anyone else out there that's not a part of this tune, who's not dancing to the tune of the truth. It does not matter if they don't believe, because the Most High's word is slated to prosper, and it has been doing what it's supposed to do. Because the thing about it is this. We weren't supposed, according to Esau and his narrative, we wasn't supposed to wake up. We wasn't supposed to have this truth. You see what I'm saying? We wasn't supposed to do any of this. So the fact that we woke up as being Israelites, that's incredible in itself to Esau, because he viewed us as, we've been viewed as the offscoring and bottom of the society for hundreds of years and decades here in America. Do you see what I mean? So for us to actually, with power and boldness and confidence, proclaim that we're going to get spiritual powers, man, that's saying a lot. That's saying a whole lot, man, because I know us brothers out there, man, according to the way the world view us, we ain't shit. We just niggas that work in plantations. Some brothers may got a little bit of money. We don't got shit. Brothers may have businesses, but we don't have multinational corporations. Like I said, we don't have armies. We don't even have an inkling that we will get spiritual powers really at this time. But we just believe, because that's the whole point of believe. We don't have to see it, but we see it we don't have to see it physically, but we see it in our mind. You know, I could see brothers performing these acts, man. I could see myself doing it. And that's where it starts. Because belief is a very powerful thing in itself. It's very powerful. And that can't be, you know, looked over as if it's nothing. So, because, hey, belief comes with a huge reward, and so does unbelief. And the reward of unbelief for all these people is going to be death. So I looked up the word Hulk. It's funny that what the definition of this goes back to. Hulk, an old ship of fittings impermanently moored, especially for use as storage or formerly as a prison. And you look at the Israelites, we are locked in prison houses. That's what is ascribed to our people. Prisoners, okay? That's what the scriptures call our people. And this is ships. A hulk, a literal definition of a hulk is a ship used for prisons because they're so bulky and not really fit for seafaring. Isaiah 42:22 says, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore. You see? So think about it from this perspective. The scriptures tell you how deplorable of a situation our people are in. We be relying on government assistance. A lot of our people, we come from broken families, broken homes. We believe in a false sense of a nationality, calling ourselves black, calling ourselves Mexican. We don't have national wealth. We don't, Jake don't have a GDP. Jake doesn't have a governing body, if you will, in a summit of these nations. So that's what makes this so, what makes it such a great leap. Because, I mean, imagine if we had been the top people. Imagine if, then it would be nothing. It would be like nothing for us to receive spiritual powers. But the Lord has taken the lowliest of the low people and polishing them up. Now, when you look up this in the origin of Hulk, it says Old English Hulk, fast ship, probably reinforced in Middle English by Middle Low German and Middle Dutch Hulk, probably of Middle Mediterranean origin and related to Greek Hulkus, cargo ship. Now, what race of people were placed on cargo ships? Israelites. No need to look any further than the slave ships, man. Look at this. Slave ships. This was our people. This was happened to the Israelites. We were placed like sardines, man. Imagine the level of power an enemy has to you to where he could just put thousands of you into a ship as if you're no more relevant than a goddamn shipping container, man. The contents of a shipping container. Meant to move from sea to sea wherever your enemy has dictated, man. This was our people. But yet and still, Yahweh Bashim al-Shai is going to raise us up and is going to dispel all the bullshit that's been associated with our people. He's going to show that we are the Israelites. Yahweh Bashim al-Shai is going to show that we are Yasha Allah, that we are princes with power. As a prince, as prescribed to our forefather Jacob, while his name was changed, he said, as a prince, thou hast power with God. And that is our heritage. That's our true heritage. Because Esau would love to make you think that our ancestry and our history starts and stops, pretty much starts here, with the narrative being we've always been slaves and this is, our predicament. But no, we're kings, man. And this is what we're waking back up to, okay? So let's actually look up. I did some searching on Bruce Banner. Because remember, the character's name is Bruce Banner. Bruce, when you go into the word Bruce, that name goes back from the lineage of Robert the Bruce, which he was a Norman Scottish. His family actually emigrated from Norman during the time of the Norman conquests of England in 1066. And he ended up being, a few hundred years later, his family rose to prominence in Scotland and he became a king of Scotland. And you know what? At that time, those Scots and those Normans, the Anglo-Saxons, the Vikings, they were all black men. All right. So Banner, Bruce Banner, think about that term, Banner. Standard. Hold on. So let's go to that first. Banner, the etymology of banner. It says a piece of cloth attached to the upper end of a pole or staff. From Old French bannière or bannière, a flag, a banner, a standard. From late Latin bandum, standard. So look at this. Isaiah 59:19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai from the west, and his rising and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. So Bruce Banner meaning standard. The Lord is going to lift a standard against the enemy. And that standard is going to be spiritual powers, man. The standard is going to be spiritual powers, okay? Proving that with the scriptures. When you go to Revelation 11 and 13, and I will give power unto my two witnesses, the two witnesses, Judah and Jerusalem, the northern kingdom, southern kingdom, because you got brothers from Judah, meaning the so-called blacks of America, Haiti, and the West Indies, and of the northern kingdom, the so-called natives of North, Central, and South America and the Caribbean islands, man. Okay? This is what the Lord said he will give power to. Okay? So go to, it says, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. You see? They're going to be killed with spiritual powers, man. Because that's what brothers, the Lord is going to raise up that standard. Mainly, I can't, personally just speaking as a man, I believe that's going to be one of the things that have Esau come against us full hard when certain brothers, like let's just say the apostles will be, it makes more sense that when they start doing certain miracles, acts of healing, that Esau's going to come full force. But I speak as a man when I say that. But, ultimately that power is going to manifest from whatever happens of when they do decide to move. And it says if any man will hurt us, then that's how they're going to be killed, with fire being, issued forth out of our mouths. That's spiritual power. Hey, that's something, if you told them, people would say that's incredible. That's extraordinary. That's hard to believe. Blah, blah, blah. It says these have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. You see? To smite the earth with plagues. Those plagues meaning those spiritual powers. Just like Moses had a power to, he raised his staff and called locusts and frogs and mosquitoes and flies to come upon the land of Egypt. He turned the rivers of Egypt into blood. He made the cattle of Egypt be smitten, the firstborn of the cattle be smitten and die, which the Egyptians lost a great deal of their wealth with all these plagues. This is how America going to be destroyed, because the men of the Lord are going to get spiritual powers, and they're going to do things to dismantle this society. And, you know, from the looks of it, it's already going out the window. But the men of the Lord with spiritual powers, that's just another added, you know, measure. Okay? So, I mean, that's pretty much what I want to get. And actually, you know, I'll go to the book of John, John chapter 14, verse 12. It says, verily, this is Yahushua speaking, verily I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also. And greater works than these shall he do, because I go to my Father. So Yahushua prescribed that. He said that if you believe on him, you're going to do greater works than him. Now, you had the apostles after Yahushua died that he mentioned, you know, the apostles, Salaki, the apostles started doing amazing things in Acts after Yahushua had passed and went to the spirit world, right? But the thing about it is, the time of the ministry of the apostles of old is over. So the men of the Lord are the apostles and disciples coming back. And Revelation goes into that time period, because the Revelation timeline goes after the ministry of the apostles. Revelation is talking about the last days, the days that we live in now. So if the Lord said he's going to give power unto his two witnesses in the book of Revelation, that means in this time now, we're going to get spiritual powers, man. Spiritual powers to do amazing, incredible things. Okay? So all praises goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Shalom.